listening to Jaime's Local Love, the podcast, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast.
Hi, everybody. I'm your host, Jaime Soretta. On this podcast, we celebrate everything local. And when one of my friends opens a local business, man, do I get excited. So let me introduce you to my good friend, Jen Rogers of Grapes and Hops, a brand new business owner right here in the Valley. Jen, thanks for being here.
Oh, my goodness. This is a dream come true. One, being with you, sitting here, opening a business. Thank you for having me.
So we've known each other probably 7 years or so. We met because you worked in television.
Yes.
Tell me, I did not know until you sent me your paperwork that you were a wine reporter. I didn't even know there was a role like that.
The best beat. So as you know, in the biz, we call it your beat.
Right.
So my very first beat, I'm fresh out of ASU.
Yeah.
Went to my first, little small town, and they're like, oh, we're going to put you on the education beat. And, in Washington State at the time, and this is back in 2002. Yeah. So it was a big deal. Washington was great education. And they're like, and we're also going to put you on a new beat. It's a big booming business here in Washington on wine. And, I went from like drinking Keystone Lights, and then they're putting me in this gorgeous wine territory. I knew nothing about it. But I'm like, well, I'm going to learn a bunch.
Right.
And I did. It's at a weekly show called Harvesting the Basin.
Oh, my gosh. And now here you are.
And now here we are. I fell in
Who
love.
knew when they assigned you that beat that would grow such a passion and a love, and then to, fast forward to 2023, and you have a business around that. How cool is that?
It's so cool. It genuinely was a labor of love. Like I learned about the farming, right? I have family from Nebraska. My grandparents are from there and farmers. So wine, what people don't understand is how much love and time goes into this product that you can get for these great prices. And I saw the farmers. I mean, I learned how to prune grapes, and it was just the coolest things ever to see farmers and these guys come in that with stained hands, and then they're in boots and dirt on their pants and pouring you this incredible wine. Yeah. And just learning the whole process and how long, before they can actually make their first dollar. I just fell in love with it. Yeah. And the people are great in this industry.
Yeah. So it's about 10 years, isn't it, before they say a great vineyard becomes fruitful?
Yes. And it's even different if you grow your own grapes or grow your own vines. It's even longer. So, it's really interesting. I mean, a lot of it now is about who's growing the grapes, and then they just put them together. The industry is different. Washington State was very young, and it was really cool, like just going in and seeing these people that are like, we know we can make a really great product here. Yeah. And I got to see the wine too. Like it was a whole process from when they would, harvest the grapes, and then when they would ferment, and then we'd go in with a thief in the barrel and taste, and then a year later come back and taste again. It was just, what an incredible thing to see something and have to sit on a product for that long.
Right. Patience,
which I do not have.
Yeah, I know.
That's why
immediate.
I sell it.
Exactly. So tell me, how long had you been thinking about opening a business?
I think seriously, after TV, I had a little entrepreneurial spirit. And when social media came about, starting to do some of that like influencer things for businesses. So really got a good handle on owning a business and understanding the work hours that need to go into it. But I wanted to do wine. Like I really wanted to have something that I was passionate about, going every day. And after COVID, I felt like we were also separate, and I felt like when you're in a room full of people, we miss that like interaction and that gleam in someone's eyes, or a tear in someone's eyes, or those smiles. And I think that's when it really hit the ground running. I'm like, I want to make sure we have a space that's safe for conversation, for people growing up and going through things. We have a little neighborhood spot. And I think that's when I got really serious. So I'd say the dream has been 15 years.
Oh, wow. It's just like the grapes.
I wanted to do
10
it.
Years, yes.
The names have changed over the years. I've made logos. Like it's always been, just this little voice right here.
And Grapes and Hops is located Tatum and Thunderbird, right?
Tatum and Greenway. Yeah, you got it. Greenway. And then it's So we're on the same corner as Sky Zone and Dollar Tree, and there's a Fred Astaire. So we've got a little
There's
fun
Monty's.
errands. And Monty's
when
music.
I told my sister, because, my sister lives over there, and she goes, oh, Monty's. Oh, she's got band kids. So, all the kids get their instruments from Monty's. So if you live in that area, you might know
Monty.
Monty's.
And Monty is still there, the original Monty.
Yeah. And he's been there for how long?
Oh,
30
gosh,
plus?
over 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been such a good mentor. We share a wall with him, so it's cool. We can hear everybody practicing.
Oh,
Tonight, we have live music from one of his, from somebody that's been working with him for years and years.
Oh.
So we're all collabing.
Yes.
I'm old, but I'm learning my new collab term.
For sure. And with your neighbors, that makes
with
sense.
our neighbors.
Okay, so you wanted a neighborhood place. You wanted a place where people could stop in between errands. They just dropped their kid off at Sky Zone, and they're in between a nail appointment because you've got a nail salon next door. Tell me about why you chose that space.
Yeah, and it was a lot of work to get into this space. One, it's close to our neighborhood where me and my family live, and so we're really active, obviously, in the schools and their sports. So we wanted our friends to come in.
Yeah.
But two, yes, having that area where we have a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people that work from home, that own businesses, that can come in and work. Like every seat has a plug you can plug into. We have Wi-Fi and guest Wi-Fi. And it's safe and it's fun and it's a happy, warm, cool vibe. So if you wanted to bring in someone to have a meeting, or you wanted a PTA meeting, or you wanted to just throw a bridal shower or a birthday party, like this is your place to do that.
Yeah.
So we really wanted to see where are the moms out there, where are the ladies, where are the the husbands going that need to go buy their wives a Fred Astaire dance package.
Yes, exactly. Why not?
And then grab a bottle of wine and
Very
be
romantic
the hero.
evening. Yes.
Yeah, and him, guys.
Yeah, there is a holiday gift for you right there. You got it knocked out. You pick up a
Christmas
pedicure and a
done.
manicure in that neighborhood
Get your kids'
too.
music lessons next door. We're done. We got this.
There is a lot happening in that little neighborhood for
It's
sure.
great.
I guess it was maybe spring when you said to me, Jaime, I'm going to do it.
Yes.
What did that look like as far as finding that space? And then you built it out. You have tasted everything that is in your beautiful little wine bar.
Yes.
So you had to go on 2 different journeys as far as the build out and then the product that you would put in it. So tell me about the build out first of that space.
Woo, the build out.
What was it before?
So it was a dog groomer.
Oh.
And it's been vacant for a while.
Oh, okay.
So, and we actually went to that dog groomer when we first moved in the neighborhood. So ironically,
Yeah.
but we wanted something small that we could, manage and handle with our small staff. But we also wanted to make sure that we had this errand area. So when we went in, there was like, oh, you need to do variances and there's codes and there's laws. And I cannot tell you how much we learned along the way about how our city works, county, how they all work together, fire departments. It was a lot.
You had to go into reporter mode, start
yeah.
studying and research.
Absolutely. And it was, I will say this, I was nervous about the process because they're like, well, it's going to take a lot of time. And it did. We had a lot of setbacks.
Yeah.
However, when I went into the city of Phoenix, you could go right up to the counter and they would not let me leave until I understood and could recite back to them what we were dealing with.
Oh, wow.
So even though we had, hired architects and hired contractors, they wanted to make sure me as the owner, because I took the time to be there, that I understood.
Wow.
And so
Kudos to them.
Absolutely. And so City of Phoenix was really honestly amazing through the process, even though we did have some delays. I get it. It's for, the health and safety of the community. So I think that the hardest part is we didn't know hiring that architect, that first upfront person, that's a marriage. I wish we would have known that going into it. If it was like the one thing I could redo, I wish I would have really fell in love and picked someone. I thought it was more of a technical side, but it's not. Like you have to rely so much on, do you have a water heater? What is the variance? What are you allowed to have here? And those are the things that we had to self-educate that we did not have a great marriage to start.
Right.
So I think that was our biggest hiccup. And, having to go through getting really great contractors at the back end made up for a lot of that, where we had that, the bad marriage.
Right, right. And then you did a lot of research on your product. So talk to me about that fun. Maybe was that the fun part?
I think that was the most fun. Yes,
there?
it was great because, once you get your liquor license, you can start talking to vendors, and then the vendors come in, a distributor, and we'd give them like our flavor profiles, the market research we'd done in the area, what we think people are drinking, what other places are selling. And then they'd come and present. And for me, how wine is made is very important. I don't like over-processed, just like, with your hair or anything else. I don't want over-processed wines coming in. So we have a couple, very popular brands that people will know. But for the most part, our wine menu, you can't get anywhere. Like, this is definitely through your distributor relationships.
Okay.
So we've been able to, conjure up this like great menu of things that I think people are going to come in and want to have a glass of and then take home or have for gifts. They're going to feel really good about the list that we've curated.
Yeah, because we can't have hangovers.
Cannot have hangovers. I'm too old for hangovers. That's my motto.
I know. That's why I led that to you.
Yes. But we did get to taste a whole bunch. Everything in there we've tasted.
So do you have Washington wines?
Yay, good question.
Yeah.
So every time I get a wine, I'm like, it's my favorite. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're like my children.
Yeah, of course.
They're all my favorite.
Yes.
But yeah, like this is a great one. This is the Apogee, right? This is from Lecole. It's an old school bus. Like you can see on their label.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
It's one of the first wineries I ever reported on. It's in Walla Walla Valley. And I have a love for them, just an affinity for this wine. And they don't have a huge stock. You can't go and find them on a lot of restaurant lists or anything, especially this one in particular. This Apogee is great. It's like a red blend and just spicy and flavorful and just a party coming in just for a minute. I love that one. And we have a white from them. So yes, the Washington wines are part of my journey.
Yeah, and they've done well for themselves.
They
were right way back then, weren't they?
Keep on trucking. They had done it.
So when you walk in, what's the capacity of your space?
Capacity is 40. So small. Yeah, small, warm, cozy.
And tell me about snacks.
Yes. So when you come in, everything is prepackaged, and that we don't have a restaurant, so we don't have a kitchen. I mean, when you walk in, what you see is what you get.
Right.
We have a restroom and everything else that you see. We are allowed prepackaged, so we thought it'd be fun to do like a build-a-board. So you come in, you pick like something sweet, savory, salty, and you pick whatever you want: meats, cheeses. I have vegan stuff.
So she's got the fridge up front.
The fridge up front. So meats and cheeses in there. We have gluten-free. We have vegan, like I said, so there's something for everyone. But then we put them on these little boards and put it all on there so it's beautiful and serve it. And then when you're ready to take the rest home, we package it up and so you get to still have like that restaurant kind of picnic experience and those things that really pair with wine. And of course, everything is wine chips those are wine grapes that are like raisins that they put chocolate on. Wow. So, everything's got a kind of fun
nod to
goes
wine.
with wine pairing.
So let's talk about what you brought here. Apparently, a lot of people watch podcasts, Jen.
Good.
I'm learning.
I've got what is that? The face for podcast?
Yes, exactly. No, I mean they're watching. Hi. So let's talk around the table here because you brought some things. What is this can?
Okay,
you got beer. This is the hops part, right?
Yes. So so we have to go local. We've got a lot of local. We have our Scottsdale blondes. We have our Papago orange blossoms. There's Bone House in Fountain Hills. That is just flying off shelves. People love.
What is it called?
Bone House.
Okay.
Haus. And they have these IPAs. I mean, it comes in a big can and beautiful artwork all around. And they are just delicious.
Okay.
So lots of local things to come in. And then like over on your end, people are watching the Yellowstone. It's back in season.
This
We're going to
is
have a
cold.
Yellowstone night.
This is ready to go.
It's ready to go. I didn't know. I
Don't
was
tempt
prepared.
me.
And those are great. It's a 4-6s. So it is Taylor Sheridan's brand. And they're delicious. We have 2 of those. So again, even with the beer, same thing with curating. We wanted to have things that are unique and interesting, but taste great and good value. And then of course we have our Arizona brand here, this rosé from Wilcox.
Oh, which one? What brand is that?
This one is the Sand Reckoner.
Oh.
So in beautiful labels.
Yes, very pretty.
They actually went out to the desert and took sunsets and had a colorist come in. That's all their labels, which I love because I'm like, that is an Arizona sunset.
Yes, it's beautiful.
So super fun. And this is really fun about this winery at Sand Reckoner. They foot stomp all their grapes.
Oh, yummy.
So you can
tell me about the process there because it works out.
Yes.
How does that work out? How does that work out?
They crush them.
Yes.
Yeah, but they do it. They still believe it's just one part of their process.
Yeah.
They wanted to have something that was super an organic process.
Yeah.
And so they do the foot stomping, like you see in the old Lucy days. But I think it's super fun and clever that they're sticking true to some things.
Yeah.
A
Have
really
you been
great
out to
winemaker.
Wilcox?
This is where I can't wait to go foot
Oh, yeah.
Well, me and you are going.
Yeah, you
We're
need to
doing
bring me
this.
because I've been there a couple times. I went for a field trip Friday on Jaimes, which was a blast. And then I went back. I liked it so much I went back, which I tend to do sometimes on my field trips. And it is a very unique town. And, Sam Pillsbury's down there.
Yes.
And he's got his place out there. But, yeah, you got to go down to
I'm
Wilcox.
on the way. Yeah, they
for
came up
sure.
to us for this one, but that's a date. Yeah,
Oh,
this is delicious. Strawberry notes, just wonderful.
Yeah.
The next two I brought are they're different. This one here, Wandering Cellars. We have an event with these winemakers coming up. Very cool story. I mean, all of them have a really cool story, but this one I love. It's a Napa Valley Chard. It's one of my favorite Chardonnays,
And what is it called?
they're all my favorites. This is called Wandering Cellars.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So the winemakers are people that were in the tech industry, got overwhelmed with just the world in general, took a sabbatical and started making wine with actually Mitch Costantino, who makes the Pure Cru that's also here, and started making wine, went to South Africa, created wine there, are growing their own grapes. They have this label there. They have 85-year-old vineyards, like stuff coming off the vine, so good, and just care so much. And every bottle, the reason I brought this one too, they handwrite every single number. So this one, only 1,200 bottles were made.
Wow.
This is bottle 1,027, and it's handwritten. So when you're supporting wine, right, and that was us too, we're supporting small and local
Right.
and people that have really put a lot of thought into their brand as well and care.
Why was
So,
that really important to you?
I think it's like the care of your children, right? Like I can't be friends with people who have naughty children. Like you have to care so much about what you're bringing into this world. And when we started meeting with people, like the passion that they had, it just gives you this energy and it's explosive. And I'm like, when I pour this, it's a new energy that I can give to someone else. And I just think people really genuinely care.
Yeah. So when I saw you last, I saw you on the weekend that you opened.
Yes.
You were behind the bar pouring
Yes.
wine. Had you ever been behind the bar pouring wine before?
Oh, geez. So back in college at NYPD Pizza, I knew the Zieglers. We were buddies. And yeah, I did opened the 20th Street and Highland location and helped do their training. And yeah, I got a lot of life lessons and kept those friends too, and we have a lot of friends that work in and around at different bars and own some bars and restaurants that have been great mentors for us. But no, this is a first. And so, busy mom life, obviously we'll have a staff. I'll be there on your weekends and, some evenings and whatnot, and definitely special events. But it takes a village. So this is my labor of love. Like this is people that come in there have to have that same excitement and vibe too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was fun kind of hearing people wander by and then look and say, you guys are open. Because my sister and I had popped by a couple times and peered in the door. So I imagine other people had been running their errands. You said you wanted a neighborhood where people were running errands and peered in, and then they would walk by and then they'd come back. Hey, you guys open? And we had one lady come sit down. She's like, explained the board to me. She was nibbling on the board, having a glass of wine while her kids was over at Sky Zone.
Right.
So it just makes sense to just have a little space where people can have a moment to themselves, maybe.
Yes. Exactly. Like take that refresh.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's what it is too. We have a lot of teacher gifts. Like I know you get these invites all the time and you're like, dinner party, great. Like, what do I get? And that's why we were trying to get, cute little gifts. Come in, get a bottle of wine, put it in a beautiful package, get a little positive potato or something cute.
What is this positive potato?
This one is different. Your positive potato is different. This one says life was all out of lemons, so here's a potato instead.
Oh, I like it. I love potatoes. One of my coworkers said to me,
guy.
she said, you just love potatoes, Jaime. And I said, well, thank you. Because she'd notice French fries, potato salad, you name it. I was like, I love I love a potato.
I love a potato.
Especially when it's
a
telling me
happy
positive
one.
things. So what really surprised you about making this jump into ownership of your own business?
How much everything costs.
Really?
It was definitely, and people told us, they're like, take whatever that budget is and triple it.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
And we were like, no, because I'm
No,
cheap,
clearly,
and I'm like,
no.
no, we're going to do the work and we're going to do this. Well, you can't do the work. I mean, and again, when you're going through contracting process, like everything does have to, and that makes sense, right? Like as much as I want my husband working and to put lights up, I don't want him working on electrical at all.
Exactly.
So, kidding, but there was a lot. And then having the right inventory and getting into, like we wanted a brick wall, right? And the brick, it's like it's very expensive to have brick.
Right.
But the ambiance is so pretty. So it was like these decisions that we were kind of making on the fly, even with the designing. You're like, I hope this is the right decision. And there are things that, that you definitely want. We're fully ADA accessible. So you can have, wheelchairs can come up to the bar. You can turn around in the restroom. You can wash your hands. The sink is proper. So I love that. All of our fire sprinklers are now up to code. It's an older building. Like, it does make you feel good. Those are some of the things that people aren't going to get excited about when they come in and look.
But it's safe for the people who are coming in and spending money with you.
Exactly. That feels good.
Yeah. So what does it feel like to have a business, Jen, my old friend, to have a business that's yours?
It's still a dream. I think I get these, I talked to my husband about it. I said the best way to explain the feeling is I feel elevated. Like all of a sudden I feel, and not like above someone, I feel like I'm in this really great headspace of I created something that I get to share. And I know you were there one night. I had a young woman come in and she was having a really terrible day, and she's one of my first customers. She walked in and saw all of us girls kind of laughing and giggling, and she goes, by the end of the day, they're all sharing a board off the same board. Everyone's talking. We're crying, we're laughing. And she's like, this is one of the best days of my life. And it wasn't at the start of it. And I'm like, my space created that. If it turns one bad day to a good one, like it did what it's supposed to. And it's special. Yeah.
Well, it's the camaraderie that creates, and then also kind of the neighborhood, people chatting with each other. That space that you offer there too, where you're sitting next to that person in a small bar. In a big bar, if you're sitting next to someone in a big bar, you can get away with not talking to that guy next to you. But in that little bar, you're going to talk to your little neighbor because you're in the same neighborhood, you're doing the same things, and you're living kind of parallel lives, and you're just the person my friend I hadn't met quite yet.
Exactly. And wine does that.
Yeah.
Every time I know
wine does do that.
It you pop a cork and it's a story. It's a night. It's that old movie Sideways, and they talk about like you have to wait for an event. Wine is the event. Like you open it, that's a special occasion. You share it with someone, whether you're in pajamas or sitting out at a neighborhood bar. It really is an experience. It's something fun to share.
You mentioned events, so you are already, doors barely open, but you've got live music lined up.
Yes.
This is a space where maybe you could do a girls' night or do some painting even.
Absolutely. We're gonna have it all, right? And we actually are asking people, what do you guys want? Like, come in, have your event here. We have a physicians group that's coming in. A really wonderful lady named Kelly is like, hey, I want to support women-owned businesses. Can I bring a group of women? And I'm like, you bet you can. And they want to do a wine tasting, and we have charcuterie laid out. And we have a couple events where you can meet the winemaker. And again, that's important, right? Like to be able to hear where these wines are coming from, figure it out, like why you like something or maybe don't like something, or, the hangover process. Why do you get those? And a lot of it's sulfites and understanding that from like the horse's mouth. Yeah. So a lot of this is education and fun, but another opportunity to just get out and have some fun.
Yeah, meet new people and
learn.
Meet
new people, yeah. And I like the music, again, like this acoustic place, I think it's just going to sound great. Yeah. And we've already had musicians reach out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that are local. They reached out to me and I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Yes, you can be here.
Yeah, you're in. I appreciate your enthusiasm.
Yes.
Too cool. So what are you loving in Arizona right now? What are you eating? What are you drinking? What are you doing? What are you loving?
Oh, gosh. Well, I'm born and raised here. So, and this, Soretta's chocolates, as always.
Stop.
No, we were talking about you last. We literally have, the mints. Of course, everybody's favorite. But honestly, like, we have been enjoying this restaurant scene. There's so many new places popping up in our area, even where we are. So we've been trying everything. So like the Mission is one of my favorites.
Like
in Kierland, just put a bunch of new things on the menu. And they have a Cuban sandwich. Oh my gosh, like that's my favorite. So it's always fun to revisit places too that that you haven't been back to in a while. Other than that, we've been pretty nose to the grindstone, but I've been doing a lot of eating out. And of course, we have a lot of eating out. Yes. My kids don't know that I can cook anymore, but.
Well, you don't have time right now, Jen. I'm sure you're probably grabbing out of that fridge and having some cheese and whatnot. Yes, that's always what I call it too. When I overspend on my my live shots, I think I am supporting local.
We are.
So where are you finding those breads and those cheeses and those crackers and such?
So we have a lot. Actually, we just reached out to Kettle Heroes. They're here
yes,
locally.
popcorn.
Yes, and they have like different popcorns, and then they have proceeds that go back to our troops.
Yeah.
So we're looking at allocating a lot of that different type of product. But yeah, we have stuff. We have cheeses from Wisconsin. We have a lot of people that have reached out to us that have like just a really good quality product. So we've been going out, but our next stop, like the 30-second Shea, we have Zuckery Charcuterie that we're going to be doing some of our big events. So yes, we're reaching out on allocating, and like every time you come in, we want to have something new and exciting for you to try.
All right. Well, I can't wait. Jen Rogers, Grapes and Hops, congratulations. I am so proud of you. We have done so much in life together over the last 7 years of friendship, just highs and lows. And what a beautiful thing to see this wonderful high for you. Congrats.
Thank you so much.
Love you, girl.
Thank you. Love you too.
Thanks for listening to Jaime's Local Love, the podcast. I'm your host, Jaime Serretta. Our technician is Tom Heidinger. Our editors are Lorraine Shearing and Gina Coy. Do you know a business worthy of some local love? Email me at jserretta@azfamily.com. Follow us at facebook.com/Serretta and Instagram @SerrettaNews. Make sure to subscribe and give us a 5-star review, please. And tell your friends about the podcast and the businesses we feature to show your local love. You can find us on Apple, YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, and anywhere you get your podcasts.
Jaime's Local Love, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast.